All right, Evan Bevins, it's September 2024. We're about ready to get into a new season of Marvel Snap. We're going to talk about the previous season. We're going to talk about our experiences with the last season. We're also going to, we got a top 5. So real quick, let's talk about last season. We just got out of Young Avengers. The season started August 6th of 2024. And our first card was Kate Bishop. She was the card that came with the season pass. And she was a 2 cost, 3 power. On reveal, add 2 arrows to your hand. Evan, you got the season pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've been consistently getting these season passes, which is great. Now I have somebody I can talk to about the premier card. What do you think about Kate Bishop?
Oh, she's like a Swiss Army knife, kind of like Nico. You can put her in just about any deck. Now, obviously, with Nico, there's some spells you want more than others. Kate, I'm pretty much always crossing my finger for a Pym arrow and an acid arrow.
Oh, acid arrows.
I mean, yeah, the traditional arrow works okay and also renders the original Hawkeye completely useless, which is something Kate Bishop never managed to do in the comics. Keep having 2 Hawkeyes. That's going to be the next thing in a few years. Marvel and DC are going to have 3 people running around with the same code name because they've been doing 2 for so long. It's getting old.
Right.
I think Ant-Man is still better than the Pym arrow because he gets a +4 and the Pym arrow only gets a +3. Basically, I'm unless you just like Clint Barton, I'm not sure why you're running Hawkeye these days. They might need to change him around a little bit. I use Kate in a lot of decks. Instantly in my collector deck, Collectosaur, anything that adds cards to my hand. I started using my Arishem deck. I remember I said last time that I was going to try to have a deck just of all cards that fit well in any deck and make that my bounty hunting deck, just to put whatever cards for the bounty in there. Then I figured I'd just do it with Arishem.
Yeah.
So my Arishem decks adapt to the bounties because who cares if the cards don't work? You might not even get them.
Right.
Especially now that their solution to Arishem, which I kind of like, they thought it was a little too good, so they gave you more cards.
Yeah.
I like that. I did my Arishem deck I refer to as type O negative.
Oneg the Prober. And I
That's
only
right.
know that. I know that because of you.
Always testing out. Actually, no, he's not testing because there's another one named Zuron the Tester. I mean, when the Celestials are sitting around picking their names, it's like, Zuron the Tester. I'm going to be Oneg the Prober. Isn't that the same as testing? Oh, no. It's like, no, you're going to a different planet. So, yeah, it's type O negative. And then I also put her in my Thanos deck because another card we're going to talk about went in there. So I figured why not have some more 1-cost cards that don't start out on my deck.
Kate Bishop was not one of my favorite cards to play against. It was, although, it wasn't like she was a game breaker. She was one of those cards that once I saw her pop up, all I was doing was just praying, please no acid arrows, please. Please no acid arrows.
The exact opposite of what you do when you have her.
Right. So, yeah, the acid arrows drove me nuts. I don't think I ended up with her in an Arishem deck or not. I did the same thing you were talking about. I think I was taking Arishem and doing the same thing with the bounties, too, because I was like, well, shoot, just throw them in there. But for a while, I wasn't very lucky with the Arishem deck. I kept losing and losing. Oh, geez, what is going on? It's the fact that I'm actually picking cards that don't work well together in this deck that is not supposed to make a cohesive sense anyway. I don't know. But
Kate and Nico are good in that deck because they can work with a lot of different cards. They usually try to have Sunspot in there to soak up the extra energy. M'Baku, because good chance you won't draw him. Or you might get 2 M'Bakus in the same deck, neither of which draw, both of whom jump in at the end. That happened once. And then Mockingbird, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Easy to activate her. And I think I even put Sarah in there just to be a real jerk with Loki, too.
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh.
At that point, you've got way more energy than you need. But
yeah. All right, moving on to Marvel Boy. 3 cost, 2 power. After each turn, give 3 of your 1-cost cards plus 1 power. And I sprung for this one. I think when we were talking last, Marvel Boy had showed up and we had a chance to play and use Marvel Boy. As far as the season goes, my use of Marvel Boy kind of took a back seat. I like him, but I was focusing on... There were a couple of things that happened. Number one, they introduced alliances, which we took advantage of, and then right after we started talking alliances, the leagues hit. So I was trying to be like, okay, I'm in a league now. I want to try and get these couple bonuses at the top if I can stay towards the top, and then was like, okay, I need to use my best deck. I can't be experimenting with Marvel Boy here and trying to make him work in a deck. So I did like watching him get used, and I knew that it was going to be a bunch of one-cost people. So when I was running in the Alliance and I needed Destroy for some of the bounties, it was so fun. I just keep my Killmonger back. And Killmonger comes out on the last turn and just wipes everybody out. I mean, I knew that was what was going to happen. I threw the fists up before we even ended the turn. I was like, Hulk Thing Fist, and the guy's like, all right, Hulk Thing Fist, and I just watched him get obliterated. Marvel Boy for you, what was going on there?
Yeah, I think I got him on my second key there. Instantly put him in with my Thanos deck, because that has a ton of one-cost cards. Eventually put him in my Savage Sword of Shulkanaut deck.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a few one-costs in there, like Black Knight. I had him in the Arishem deck at one point, which you're probably not supposed to put one-cost cards in there, but I had Baku and Sunspot and somebody else, so I figured out we'll throw him in there too. I'm sure I tried him in a Surfer deck at one point. Sometimes 1 point can make a difference. If he's giving you up to 3 every turn, he's pretty good to have around. Plus, I don't think that's an on-reveal or ongoing, so he can get around some of those things that slow those down.
Red Guardian was another favorite of mine because he's 3 cost, 2 power, and he's usually the lowest power. I watched Marvel Boy boost a squirrel sitting beside him, and I nailed Marvel Boy with Red Guardian at one point. I was just laughing because I was like, well, okay, you're this is not funny. Next up, Wiccan, 4 cost, 7 power on reveal. If you've spent all your energy this game, +2 max energy. We cleared this up last time that we have to use all your energy going up to that turn, and you can lay out Wiccan and get that +2 max energy. I see him every once in a while. I will say that when I see him drop, he's pretty, I mean, helping you with +2 energy plus being 7 power, that's not a lightweight.
If you don't get it to work, he's still 7 power.
He's somebody that can at least be a problem in that lane.
So virtually every card in the game, he's better than the Thing.
Poor Ben Grimm. He'll never get his due. When he was there, I was kind of worried about, okay, what am I going to get into? What kind of craziness is going to happen? Because now they've got +2 energy for the next 2, possibly 3 turns. And sometimes it seemed to help them out quite a bit. So what about you?
Yeah, I think I might have gotten Wiccan on the first try. So don't think I used him a whole lot until I got, no, I did, because Quicksilver and Domino are the way to set them up. Then you just got to hope you get a 3 cost. I experimented a lot this season. I think I probably had him in the Surfer deck at one point, maybe even messing around with Mr. Negative. It didn't stick very long until I got the next card. Then I tried him a little more. Good card, but not like, okay, I got Wiccan in my deck, you're in trouble now. Or maybe I just haven't figured out the best combination for him. I don't know, but not a bad card at all. I like using him.
I was going to say you're right. I mean, this next card, Speed, 3 cost, 3 power, ongoing +1 power for each turn in which you spend all your energy. We mentioned this last time, like Speed goes hand in hand with Wiccan. If you can get, what were we saying?
Quicksilver, Domino, Speed, Wiccan.
So Speed definitely helps out prior to getting Wiccan. I usually saw him with Wiccan. Because I didn't get Wiccan, I didn't really feel like I needed to absolutely get Speed. How about you?
Yes, he's a good card, but he works well with Wiccan, and there's the advantage is if you're playing Quicksilver and Domino, you forego some of the other 1 and 2 cost cards, but then you can load it up with more powerful cards. I had a deck with Speed and Wiccan and then Quicksilver and Domino. I didn't keep it around very long because it was fun to play, but it was kind of hit or miss. An extra +1, and he'd be good. I don't think I tried him in a Surfer deck, but I tried every 3 cost card eventually in a Surfer deck and some non-3 cost cards.
I imagine it gets to be a challenge after you lay Wiccan down and you got to use all that energy to get the bonus for Speed. So you got this +2 energy. Now, I'm curious, since you did play this, if you had Sunspot out there and he uses that energy, that doesn't count towards that ability, would you think? Okay.
No,
all right.
It wouldn't.
I never had a chance to figure out if that's the case or not. So, because you don't have that energy, or you still have that energy at the end of the turn, and Sunspot just absorbs it up.
I'm not very good at the data-driven stuff, so I don't remember a lot about that. I was just like, oh yeah, I'll get at least +4 on Speed, and then I'll have a bunch of other energy. And then sometimes it was like, I got more energy than I need.
Right.
So
right.
I couldn't get anything going very long. It was fun to do and fun when it hit, but I couldn't get anything going for very long with that one.
All right, next up is Hulkling, 6 cost, 11 power. At the start of the game, copy the text of a random 6 cost card. We had a good time going through the 6 cost cards, trying to figure out which ones you hope get matched up with Hulkling and which ones you do not want Hulkling to get matched up with. I thought that if I was going to spend any keys to try and get, it would have been this one, but I didn't do it. Down to the last day, I'm looking at this thing going, should I try to get it? And I didn't. I've watched them copy a few people's abilities. I recently watched them get Red Hulk. What does Red Hulk? I can't even remember what Red Hulk starts out with.
If they don't spend all the, well, he starts on a 10, so it's actually one less. More. And then if they don't spend all their energy, he gets a +3.
So, yeah, I mean, again, you're kind of at the mercy of what one it copies. But what, did you run into anything?
Yeah, I got him too. I got the clean sweep.
Dang.
Yeah, I got them all with keys.
Wow.
I think that one took me 3. But yeah, I got him and I put him on the Shulkanaut deck and replaced Red Hulk. But I don't know if he's going to stick. It's a fun concept, but I didn't end up using him a whole lot. Although I did see somebody online saying Speed was the least exciting card in the game. That's not true. I didn't think it was that bad. It's hard to knock Red Hulk. If I'm going for a 6 cost 10 or more power, it's hard to knock Red Hulk out of there.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think. I know I did see a few people say I don't think it happened to me, but I did see a few people saying they got Hulkling copying Hulkling.
Did they really?
Yeah, and apparently it happened a few times.
That's funny. All right. Well, location. We have 2 locations this season. Destroyed Mansion. Add a rock here and a vibranium to your hand.
What was your favorite location ever?
Listen, we have our top 5 best locations, our top 5 worst locations. We need a top 5 meh locations, and this is number 1. Destroyed Mansion is just like, okay, there's a rock. Great. Now I got a vibranium. Hooray. I absolutely endorse your idea of like, hey, that's perfect fodder for Marvel Boy, because that is essentially what happened. I got Marvel Boy and was like, okay, well, Marvel Boy's going in my deck right now, so I can help, Destroyed Mansion actually is going to matter. Didn't play very much when this location was hot, so I can't really comment other than I was not impressed, and I still wasn't impressed even when I got it. So what about you?
I like it because it's a location that doesn't make me go, At first, I was like, why would they just take a location out? But I don't miss the peak at all. It's better than the peak. It's better than Ego. So
the peak was fun when it was featured. When it's not, because when you can expect it, then things get fun. But man, if it just shows up, gosh, yeah. So I am kind of glad they put it on the back burner. But go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you.
I don't understand why they got rid of the original Krakoa, where it played one of your cards on one turn. That's so much better than Ego. Yeah. I mean, I love the idea that once in a while you can't control it, but I don't like losing the whole game. So that's what Ego needs to be. But as far as the Destroyed Mansion, it was, to borrow a phrase that I'm sure Mark Radulich has copyrighted, it was fine. The thing that was funny is I kept not recognizing it. I don't know if it was the sandbar or what, but I would be like, where'd that rock come from? Or that's just because I'm too easily distracted, or because I'm trying to multitask when I should be focusing on something instead of trying to sneak in a game of Snap. But yeah, I would look down and be like, why is there a rock there? Who played debris? So yeah, it's a perfectly cromulent location to me. It just, it's there.
Perfectly cromulent. Oh, all right. Then next up, we got to see this in our battle. That was Clubhouse. Fill this to give your cards at other locations +1 power. And my first game with this, I experimented and I was like, oh, you know what would be great? And it occurred to me like Kitty Pryde as the 4th thing. And I wonder if I could just continually spam to do like continually. Did not happen. Does not work. Just does that one time and that's it. I did like it. When you have all your 1 cost guys out there and you're using Marvel Boy, you can fill that location up pretty easily. Did not get to Legion it as much as I wanted to, and I don't even know if I did. But so there you go. That was my experience. How about you?
Yeah, played it a few times, but I don't know if I was trying to get bounties or what. I didn't adapt any decks to it. Eventually, I started using my MCU Hammer deck with the Thor and Beta Ray Bill and Gilgamesh. And then at one point, I tried my Fill Every Location deck with it. It worked out well. I don't remember any time it really made a huge difference, but +1 for each card at your other locations is nothing to sneeze at.
Right.
Yeah. But I was more confused trying to figure out where it was in the comics. I kept getting it confused with the New Warriors Crash Pad.
Did you never found out, right? Because we were just talking about the last battle.
I assume it's Young Avengers related, probably from the series that I've heard good things about where Kid Loki and Marvel Boy join, but I haven't actually read.
All right, that is our discussion and our thoughts on Young Avengers. Thanks a lot for joining us. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for the next installment of Snap Material.